But we can walk into the world and not even have to change the world. Because if I have to change the world in order for me to do it, I am then creating the very problem I want. We look at the history of humanity, and some of the West would say when they came over to the United States, I believe there was this loving, caring idea they had, but when they saw Native American Indians, they literally thought they were living like savages and they could be living better because they were already living in castles. So they went and convinced them that they were living wrongly. And then what happened is the destruction within that came. But when someone does something and realizes they mess up, they tend to get very defensive, and then the war broke out. And that really is it. We don't know. If they came over here and didn't think their way was better, it wouldn't have happened. But it happened so we can learn from it, not to do that. I don't know enough to tell Karen or anyone in here what they should do. But sometimes I do. And then I just end up apologizing because I don't know. Because I don't know. I can only know what it is I know when I'm present in that moment. So when I'm present in the moment, and if someone asks me a question, I would say you have the answer because you have the question. It's a complete kit. Now when you have a question, just like a quarter has a heads and a tail, you must flip it to get to the answer. So you must step out of the aspect of the question in order to find the answer. So a conversation with someone engaging can lure you out of it. I could point you out of it, but I can't give you the answer because the answer is contained within your field, not in mine. Just like if I wanted to go to Santa Monica, I've never been there, and I put my GPS because I don't trust it. I call my buddy up and I say, hey, can you put this address in? He puts the same address you did in. And he's like, what does it say? Well, it says make a left out of the neighborhood. He's like, I knew it. He's like, why? Mine says make a right. But we don't realize he's 5 miles the other way in the road, so the first initial reaction out of the gate would not be the same as mine. That's why we can never give advice in specifics. We can say just, the GPS is, listen to it, follow it. My GPS is in a different location, that's why it's not going to get you. Even though the destination is the same exact thing, we think the answer should be the same for everybody. No. Everyone has their own road. There's 7 billion people on the planet. They'll all arrive at this place differently. I'm just here to say everyone has it already contained in them. And when we stop thinking and fall into a natural state of presence, the information comes to you one step at a time. That's how all the great artists, musicians did it. And even now, like you're starting to see, like when someone writes a beautiful song or something, they get to the point where they're almost embarrassed to take credit for it because they don't know how they did it. Because if they actually did it, they'd be able to do it time after time after time after time. And they can, but once they do it once, they start thinking about it, and then the second album sucks. Because they didn't think about it the first time. What did we do wrong? Well, we weren't thinking about it. We were happy and we were just playing. That's like the same old story. And then when they get back to the producing stuff or writing, like you can't think about writing, you just write. Now, I learned how to write as a kid, so my left brain is engaged to write or type. That's the function of it, and that's it. We don't think about the story. We sit silent, and the story comes to us. All right? But the imagination is the first component in moving in the direction. Without the imagination, well, let's see where we land. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But when you're trying to get somewhere, you need to know where you're going. Imagination will put you there. It will raise your frequency to it. So if thinking about Hawaii and possibly moving there generates a frequency of what it would be like to live there, you then have to stop, because the human mind wants to say, well, how am I going to do it? I can save X amount of dollars this month. And no, stop that. That will talk you out of it. Thinking will talk you out of anything. Just hold on to the feeling. And when you hold on to the feeling, you become present. And then observe. Don't search for or look, but you'll see they'll come in front of you. You'll start seeing the synchronistic values of things coming to you. And that's when you're like, it's working. Just like the GPS says, make a right. and it'll tell you, and it will tell you, it doesn't tell you right when to do it, it tells you about 500, in 500 feet you'll be making a right. So it gives you ample time to respond to it. So when those things come in it, you actually respond as best you can at the moment. Don't think you should respond to any better or different, because that's thinking, and that's what throws a wrench in it.